Alrighty, folks. One of the things that I love to do my Sunday mornings is find new people with new stories. Ideally, somebody from our wonderful school community, one rental at a time, because I think there are just so many great stories in there. This young man is no different. Josh, welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Josh. Well, do us a favor. Give us the quick intro. Who is Josh? What are you doing? What's your history in real estate? We'll go from there.
All right. So currently, I own quite a bit of rental properties. I started 25 years ago buying properties, and I'm also a general contractor. So between the two of these, it keeps me very, very busy.
Very
But
cool.
yeah, I'm out of the
Yeah.
Riverside area if you're familiar with that location.
Oh, absolutely. I knew a bunch of folks down in that part of the world after the '08 crash. Bruce Norris, Tony Alvarez, just to name a few. Mike Cantu, another guy down there.
Good
That's
friend of mine.
yeah. There you go. Mike Cantu is a wonderful follow. I haven't thought about Mike in a long time. Professional skateboarder and the like. Anyways, I digress. So, what got you started in 2000, man? You actually started a year or two before I got my first.
Yeah, it's interesting. In 1999, my mom ran a nonprofit here in Riverside, and she kind of helped house people getting off the streets, mental illness. And she had bought a CD set. Back then, we didn't have the internet like we do now. So it was a CD set by Carlton Sheets.
Oh, the good old Carlton Sheets. Dude, I used to watch his infomercial all the time. He gets so excited.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So she wasn't using it, and then I saw that my dad had a friend that was an investor for years out of Texas, so it always interested me, and I started listening to it on my drive. I was working for a home builder doing a job out in San Clemente, so I'd listen to that every day. And
Yeah.
about a year later, I took action. I mean, that was the biggest thing. I just took action after listening to that. Met up with a real estate agent. He happened to be an investor as well. He took a liking to me, and uh, bought my first condo to live in, and it was a true assumption. I'm sure you remember those.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Coming out of the
And
'80s. Yeah. 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 Assumption clauses.
yeah, paid 59,000 for that. It's pretty wild. I still own it to this day, but I live there and rented a room to a friend of mine, and another friend ended up needing a place to stay, so he rented the couch. So we were
No,
living.
dude, you were house hacking before it was a thing, man. You are a trailblazer.
Yeah, it's funny to hear that term now. I just laugh like, wow, I didn't even know. So,
I didn't even know I was ahead of my time. That's
right.
amazing. Now, way back when you got started in 2000, were you a general contractor already, or were you doing something else?
So I was not. I was working for a home builder as a superintendent.
Okay.
The public home builders, they were private then, but
Yeah. Okay. So you were in the business, but you weren't really hands on just yet. That was to come.
correct, correct.
Okay. All right. So you go from that condo house hacking. You're probably living for free, not even knowing you're doing that because you got the roommate and the couch rented out. Where does this? Where did the twists and turns take you next?
So from that point, I still continue to keep in contact with that real estate agent, and he owned a lot of rentals, so we would talk and meet, and he led me to another property that he thought I should flip.
Hmm.
So I bought the property with the intentions of flipping it, and did get it fixed up using the resources from being in construction.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, it fell out of escrow, so ended up renting that property, which was a blessing in disguise, right?
So
So
yeah, yeah. You can. So is that one you still own that one as of well today?
I do not. I ended up selling that. It was, I don't know, 5, 6 years down the line.
Okay.
And I did move that one. But in the meantime, I had bought several more properties as rentals.
So it sounds like at least in the beginning you were very much investing in your backyard. Uh, is that still where you are mainly today, or was there some pivot where you went, "Hey, this is I don't know, diversification or whatnot," or did you stay loyal to your buy box?
Yeah, no. So kind of interesting. In '05, prices were just going nuts, right? And I'm a very conservative guy by nature, and I wanted to make sure that all my homes could afford themselves. And
Absolutely. Love
and
that.
everybody was taking out these neg-am loans. I'm sure you remember those, pick a pay,
Oh yeah,
countrywide, all that.
I do.
I just couldn't get on board with that. So it was hard to find things that were going to cash flow that again could afford themselves. So I had bought a condo, another condo, and that thing went up, I don't know, $100,000+. And I didn't like the tenants who were coming in and out of it. And so I decided to sell that. I did a 1031. And at that point, there was a guy named Marshall Reddick. I'm sure you remember him.
I do. Yep.
And he was, talking about buying properties out of state, different stuff. So I got hooked up with an investment banker / investor. And I took that one condo, sold it, and parlayed that into, I believe it was 8. I bought 10, but I think 8 of those went into that 1031 out of state.
Okay.
In Houston, Memphis, Alabama, South Carolina.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
In one transaction, you were suddenly in 5 markets.
It was wild. I remember being on my honeymoon cruise and having to deal with that.
So I just got to ask, is that, wow. Do you recommend people earlier in their journey kind of spread that focus to so many different markets?
I do not. I would not do it again.
Thank God. Thank God.
I would not do it again, Michael. I still own, out of those 10, I bought a couple more. I still own, I think, 6 of them. And I'll never forget, Bruce Norris once told me, he said, one day your loan will be more valuable than your property. And I didn't quite understand what he meant. Fast forward to today, it's like, okay.
Now I get it.
Sense. So
I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Bruce Norris. I gave Bruce Norris credit in my book, my first book, One Rental at a Time.
Yep.
He's the guy that did the California crash. I think it was 06. Yeah, it was 06. And I went to that. I didn't understand half the things he said,
right.
but I remember the affordability index. I'm like, shit, I don't know what the affordability index is for Fresno. And I checked it out. I'm like, oh my God, he's right. We're screwed.
Yes.
So we sold all our money. It's funny. We did 1031 exchanges as well. So we did the road show, right? We went to we actually flew there, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, blah, blah, but nothing else worked. So we ended up moving it all into apartments in the same market. So we changed asset types. We didn't change markets. So
sure.
Pretty interesting. So when you look at your portfolio today, like, is it mainly out of state stuff, or have you kind of come back?
No. So I believe it was 08, I started working for a gentleman who had known I'd flipped properties and had rentals, and he had a lot of money. So he said, hey, will you come flip houses for me? So I did that for about a year. And at around 09, I went back out on my own, and I bought lots and lots of REOs.
Oh, yeah.
In the Inland Empire, Hesperia, Riverside, San Bernardino counties area. And so
you and Bruce Norris were cleaning up.
Yes, I actually almost went to work for Bruce, and I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have went back out on my own. And but he was a good man. You are my new Bruce Norris, by the way.
Oh, that is high praise. I'm not sure I've earned that, but damn.
Dude, I'm serious, man. I watch all your daily financials and that, and it's like, man, this is the information that I'd have to go to a 3-day seminar, which you've been to get all that. So
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, Bruce. I've been lucky enough to speak with Bruce Norris directly a couple of times, and every time I thank him, I spoke with his son. Rest in peace, Aaron. Aaron's was on the channel a couple of times. Another great guy.
Great guy.
But so let's get in. What are you doing now? Let's fast forward to now. What is Josh doing now in the business?
So currently I manage my rental portfolio. We self-manage, I'd say 80%. The last year or so, I've started releasing some of that to managers. That's a whole nother ballgame, a whole nother story. So you got to manage managers.
Amen.
So I currently manage my portfolio, and I am a full-time general contractor. So we do remodels, kitchens, baths, things like that, full house remodels.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that still?
I do not.
You do not. That's actually not the answer I expected. You do not. So why are we still doing it exactly?
Thank you. I ask myself that every day.
Because I'm getting the feeling you don't have to do that anymore if we're just talking amongst us boys.
You're right, and it's interesting. I brought in a young man. He's 34. That's young to me, and he wanted to learn real estate and investing, and so happened to be he's entrenched in all of it, including the construction. So he kind of gives me some passion, some purpose again.
Okay.
It's kind of
Oh,
like
I get it.
myself when I was young. So, and I
All
told
right.
him once that constructions is a means to an end,
Yes.
meaning it pays me very well and it's allows me to buy more property, fix up the properties that I own. And so for now, that's kind of currently why I'm in it. I'm not yet ready to get out. I'm hoping maybe a couple years.
Okay. All right. Because again, so you can see the end. You know it's there. It's not
Yeah,
like some off in the distance. Okay, I like it.
that's the point.
Yeah. I actually think that's healthy, because again, you know my story, but for the audience, right? My end to my career came out of nowhere. I went to work one day thinking I was going to have another great year, and it just didn't go that way. So I think knowing, let's just call it 24 months from now, you're going to be out, will allow you to both prepare your mind, your soul. It'll help you set up the next thing. Because the other thing, again, you're going to find, let's just call it 2027 when this happens for you, is you're going to still have all this energy and passion. You're going to have to find an outlet.
Yeah.
So you have time to kind of set that up. So I think it's a good thing to know what's coming.
And my true passion is real estate. I mean, I can talk about it all day long. I'm sure people, if they ask me questions, I'll just start going on, and they get like, "Whoa, that's a lot."
Whoa, time out.
So that is my true passion, and he and I actually want to start looking again. You know, I haven't bought in a while, but that's my passion. Maybe flip a few,
Yeah.
wholesale some, and then pluck off some rentals.
Yeah, I love it. That's the other thing about, once you kind of know the business, you have a buy box, you know the areas, is it's a game you can play forever, right? Until you just don't want to play anymore. It's not like a professional sport where you kind of age out and father time wins. You can be proactive and come in and out of the market when the market's, when you have an unfair advantage, which again, I think is coming in this buyer's market. And it may not last long, because the last cycle you and I went through was kind of 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Right.
This next one's, relatively speaking, is going to be short. We have some foreclosure nonsense going on inside FHA, which has to be cleaned out, which is going to spit out some NODs and whatnot. But people think it's going to be 08 all over again. I'm like, you guys are smoking crack, right? It could be bad, especially if they all come inside a calendar year. More likely it'll come out spread out over a longer term, and it'll be, a fart in the wind. But this is not 08 on repeat.
I wish it was at times. I hate to say that because a lot of people get hurt, but I can't tell you how many properties I bought. And so that was a great time. I definitely did well. Should have kept a lot of them.
Yeah, it's funny. I just got this comment on my channel. It's rather long, but I'm just so irritated. I'm going to read it anyway. Heck, it's my show. You are in no position to say 2008 level foreclosures will not happen again. Oh, really? Okay, whatever. You are dead wrong. Want to put some money on that? Either you have a narrative to push for people that took your advice a few months ago when your position was home values may go up, laugh out loud, SMH, I don't know what that is. And now you change your position. I didn't change my position to values will go down and foreclosures will increase, but not to 2008 levels. First off, that's not what I said. My guess is right around this time next year, you'll be making a video about how 08 was nothing compared to what's happening now. Dude, you're a moron. You're just a moron. You're just an idiot. Not a good look to keep changing your position every few months based on obvious market conditions. Anyone can do. First off, I didn't. Anyone can do that. Based on the math and the number of people hiding behind foreclosure prevention protection, it's just a matter of time before this 10 to 20% minimum value correction we are in. Even the 2 to 3% mortgage homeowners will be upside down. Dude, you're a moron. Just, guys, crazy. Doesn't matter. You have a 3% mortgage. If you pulled cash out during the refinance boom, 80, 90% LTV, you will be upside down and hardly makes sense for the homeowner to continue paying investing. It's not worth what you owe. You then add the potential job loss with unemployment rising. You will have at least 50% of those 2 to 3% mortgages defaulting as well. Dude, I get it. You have a big portfolio, don't want to crash, and you're advising investors. But the reality is, within the next year, '08 is coming back.
Wow.
You know what my response was? I hope so. I'm buying 200 or 300 units.
Exactly. I don't see that happening though, Michael.
No, there's no chance, Josh.
No.
Come on. I mean, if you know anything, I mean, Bruce Norris, right? We both showing him a bunch of love. He has all the charts that show why '08 was coming. And again, I want to highlight, I got out of the way. I sold ahead of time. I'm not some idiot who sat on 8 houses and let it all go to 7. I sold them all. And believe it, I saw it coming again, I would sell them all. And I own a lot more than 8 houses now.
Yeah.
So it's wild that people believe that this is going to be worse than '08. Are you kidding me?
Definitely not. I don't see that at all. I think there would have to be some black swan that I don't see. But even then,
no, they take rates to 0, and
yeah,
it just wouldn't matter. I'd refi everything at 0, and it'd be fine.
sure, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you deal with stupid people, and
I'm sure you deal with it all day long.
That's right. That's right. So back to what you're doing now. You're kind of seeing the end of the GC career, a couple of years, planning for it, getting excited about what's coming. Let's talk about the new investors who are getting somewhere between 1 unit and a couple, and they're stuck in that first 5 years of suck. One of the things I want everybody to realize is it sucks for everybody in those first 5 years. You don't have the compounding of growth and inflation, and you make your mistakes there. And what kind of encouragement do you have for those people in the first 5 years?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember that journey, and you're not making a whole lot of money. You're just trying to get through it, and it's tough. But I can tell you, my dad's friend who owned hundreds and hundreds of property once told me that, every 10 years, your business career, it'll be different in the better. That cash flow will get better and better.
Yeah.
So I can't think of a better business if you can just stick through it. A lot of people get impatient because they want to be rich overnight. And that's the biggest complaint I would have with a lot of these Instagram gurus and stuff. Quit your job tomorrow and get into wholesaling and flipping. You'll be rich in, 6 months to a year. That's not true. Not to say it can't happen for some, but I think just sticking through it, getting up every day, knowing what your future goal is, and that it is around the corner. It will happen. We're all going to be older one day, right? So you got to
amen.
Keep at it. And I think that's why I always really liked you, Michael, is when I first started listening, it was like, wow, it was a breath of fresh air. This guy had a W-2. He started buying with 1 house, then he went to 2. But and not even knowing exactly what you were doing. I think you talk about, is it the Norris Street house? I believe the name is. You look at that and you made some mistakes, but look what it turned out to. I think you bought a 6-plex or something off that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Good memory.
So it's, you're going to take your lumps, but you're going to take them in anything you do.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that I want the people that are stuck in the suck to understand is everybody goes through it, both of us included. But the wealth formula it's 10 years. It's really, to me, it's like real estate tests you. The first 5 years, it's testing you. Like, how bad do you want it? How committed are you to this thing? And then it gives you 5 years of like, okay, you're feeling yourself. You can see it. And then to your friend's point, the 10-year mark, it's like suddenly it's like, oh, it's like, I get it now.
Right.
And it is so powerful. But you got to get through the suck.
One of the biggest things that I often think about is it's not what I've gotten from it to this point, but it's the man it's made me as well.
Ooh, tell me more.
So, I can't tell you how many times throughout my career I've cried to my wife and wanted to quit because of this and that with tenants or the market. And, it was tough. There was some really, really tough times. And 2009 was one of those where luckily I held strong because I knew that if I held out and I didn't buy stupidly, which I didn't, that it would turn. Thank God I did. But so just perseverance in going through that has taught me so much as just being a man, a father, a business owner, a business leader.
Yeah.
And that
Being
sometimes,
committed, being
yeah,
committed.
staying committed, great point. And that's sometimes more valuable than all the wealth you can create, to be honest.
No, I love that. And you are a part of our school community, which we are very lucky to have you. Why did you join school?
You know, like I said, I've just always really loved you and what you put out there and the realness of it, and not the get rich quick and the buy four rentals can change your life. I think that's absolutely amazing and true. And so I thought for the what is it, 66 pennies a day you say or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why not? I'm a frugal guy, so I said, all right, I think I can squeeze out a few pennies a day, but
I think that, so I think that's amazing, right? Let's be clear about something. You don't have to join school, right? You've already got
Mhm,
enough in
mhm,
what you know. I
mhm.
think you joined school for two reasons. One, yes, I think it's fair to say you wanted to thank me, for being a voice of reason out there. But I also think you saw it as an opportunity that you could personally get kind of some of that action of helping the new people, which maybe sets you up for your after 2 years of being a general
Yeah.
contractor.
Mhm.
So I look forward to you being active and helping some new folks. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun for me to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, Michael. I definitely love helping others because I look back at the Bruce Norrises, the Mike Cantus, the Tony
Yes.
Alvarez's, the guys that I was able to sit down with and, just kind of guide me and help me. And, when those times I wanted to quit, I'd call Mike and
Yeah.
he'd lump me up a little and just keep pushing forward. So, I'd love to be that sounding board for others as well. And just through my journey, help others.
I've actually gone back and listened to some of the older stuff of Mike, or of
Hmm.
Bruce interviewing Mike Cantu, because some of
Hmm.
that old stuff is great. Um, I look forward to you being the kind of Mike Cantu inside my school community, because I think a lot of people will be gravitated to you. I think this video is going to get you a lot of people reaching out to you inside school. Folks, if you want to reach out to him, just send him a note. Josh Moreland is right there on the screen. Send him a note inside school. Thank him for this. Start asking him questions. I guarantee you he's going to get a kick out of it and help a lot of people. Josh, closing thoughts.
Wow, that could go forever.
Go for it.
No, we don't have all day, but I just would say to anybody that's thinking about joining school, it's a great place with a lot of seasoned people, a lot of new people, and I found on there that everybody is encouraging. Nobody's beating each other up, so I think that's huge. And if this is a dream of yours, I think that you go for it. I read a quote today and I just wanted to share it, but it says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you have imagined. And so I can tell you, I'm living the life that I've imagined, and I want to keep living that. So I think groups like this definitely help. And again, it's not, you're not blowing your budget on this. It's wonderful. So, and always keep educating yourself.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest things I would put out there, that education. I'm still reading and learning constantly, and from
Amen.
people that know less than me and people that know more. I can gain from both.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Josh, that was a great way to close. I appreciate you. Thank you for getting us time this Sunday. You're amazing.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your time. Thank you for having me.